going down. It's going down. Texas CBD Fair Market. Oh man, so it's very, very interesting. I learned something new today. We'll make sure that that doesn't um, mess up things. Give me just one moment. Let me get this here. We're live and direct. Texas CBD Fair. Ooh. We are back. Alrighty. Gonna have our guests come here in a few moments. Post. Back, come on. Let's see. Let me get this here. Got guests. Alrighty. One moment here. Alrighty. So let me send this here. Oh man, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. I did not know what was going to go on with that. Ooh. Yeah. It's interesting. All right. So. Okay. So that's cool. Alrighty. Let me make sure this is good. Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alrighty. Copy. Alrighty. So while I do that here. Let me grab the YouTube link. So this is the Texas CBD Fair Market. So what ended up happening was I think what it was the fact that I was playing Spotify, and because of that, it decided YouTube picked up on that, and I was all like, "Oh man!" But it's all gravy because there is a way around. There is a way around. So this is the Texas CBD Fair Market. So what ended up happening was I think what it was the fact that I was playing Spotify. Just getting this posted. Let's see. New link. San Antonio. Let's see if we can meet up. And the guests we're going to have here, is going to be Roy with the Carpenter's Apprentice. So give me just one moment. All right, cool. So while we're getting that, uh, let's see. One moment here. Oh man. Mm, All right, so give me just a few moments. So at least I know this is a learning experience. At least I know not to have the Spotify link, or not to have like, I have plenty of friends who have music, and different things like that. I think that's the cool thing about stuff like this, is that you live and you learn. You live and you learn. So right now, I'm hoping that my guests will be able to come aboard here. Let's see. Bloop. Okay, Texas CBD Fair. We back in full force. You know what? Let me send this to our guest. Um, One moment. Whew. Hope y'all are doing good. This is the Texas CBD Fair and Market. Uh, let's see. Let me get the YouTube here. YouTube. Mm-mm. One moment here. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Texas CBD Fair and Market. All right. So it's very interesting. Let me make sure that my guests are able to log in. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Oh man. So after Roy, we're actually gonna have our one of our sponsors come through. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be Jonathan from the CBD Country. Um, so yeah, hopefully we get this all going good, all going good, all going gravy. You know, have this going on, and I'll be able to piece the interviews together, and that's gonna be cool. Hopefully we can get Roy on here. Now he's such an awesome guy. I really hope we're able to get this going. Let's see. Ooh, yeah. So we're back in here, the Texas CBD Fair Market. When situations like this happen, I'm just all like, you have to be super quick on your feet. I was able to learn something new today, and I was able to still, go forth with the fair. So, this is cool. Plus, this is a live video on my YouTube, which I don't usually do live videos, but it's not like we're blocked from Facebook forever. They actually said it was just like for an hour or something like that. So that's perfectly fine. I'm glad that that is the thing. So, like I said, we're just hopefully we can get Roy to come through. And after that, we're gonna have Jonathan from the CBD Country. He's gonna be coming through to. Oh yeah, there's Jonathan. Can you? Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, we still got it going on. I had to think quick on my feet. I was just all like, "Oh, what am I gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, I can stream it on YouTube." And so I got it on YouTube. And then what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna piece both of them together because with each one of the lives, I take the individual interviews out anyways and put them on YouTube. So we're still gonna have that. Facebook, they just blocked it until like 3:30, and as soon as I saw that that was going on, I was all like, you know what, I didn't even think about that. And I have a whole list of friends that I don't have to worry about the copyright issues with, and I can play their music. So this was just that was the first time me dealing with that. So I was just all like, all right, we can still keep it going. Heck yeah. Yeah, luckily I was just all like, man, the YouTube is like, boom, came right in handy. So I'm excited about that. Right now it's live right now, so it's cool. I'm able to because that's the cool thing about doing these lives is I repurposed all of the material, so it's one of those things. I've been having the CBD country all throughout the things having to play through. So thank y'all for being sponsors. That's going to be super cool. And just the way that you have, I'm so glad that you set that up like that because that's going to it looks dope right now, but let alone when we play it back, it's going to look super cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, that is perfectly fine. So what I'm gonna do right now is I have one guest. He does this show called The Carpenter's Apprentice. He's also like a CBD cannabis enthusiast, and we work with this nonprofit, Growing Empowered Together. And so right now they're getting donations for face masks to give to medical employees and staff to give to them during this time since they're like the ones that are having to be at the forefront of this. So I want him to, talk about that. So right now he's just double checking, getting the app going. But yeah, we still have you going on at 3:30. That's still perfectly fine. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, yeah, and I just emailed you that. Should show up on the email. And yeah, 'cause- okay, cool, cool, cool. I think it was a different color. Oh yeah, no, it's all good. I posted it on the San Antonio because I can still post from my personal page, so I posted it on that in the San Antonio CBD Facebook from my personal page. But Facebook will allow me to repost on there after 3:30. So right about a couple minutes after we start, then I'm gonna be able to post the YouTube link into the Texas CBD Facebook, so that way people can get on there. Oh, there goes Roy. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, no, 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 you're not live yet. He was like, I'm not ready. All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna talk to you in a few, okay? Oh yeah, you stay right there, Roy. I'm gonna get you on here in a little bit. All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna talk to you in a little bit. All right, see you. All right, how you doing, Roy? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. No, I just wanted you to come on because I was editing, the podcast and I saw y'all was doing the face mask initiative. And I told Lauren, I'm all like, well, I have a whole like song like for face mask. Like I need to be a part of this. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, with the on the current. Yeah, my homeboy hit me up and he tagged me on Instagram and he was just all like, "Bro, I thought they had did like your song or whatever," and I was all like, "Oh, not yet, but we're gonna make it happen." But yeah, man. So I'm just gonna bring you on. We're gonna chop it up till about 3:30, just seeing how everything is, and then just talking about the Carpenter's Apprentice and Get and the Face Mask Initiative as far as getting people out there. So what I'm gonna do as well is I'm going to DM you the YouTube link for this if you have anybody that you want to send it to. But it's going to be recording and I'm going to chop these all down and it'll be a separate interview that I put on YouTube and Facebook. So when it goes out, you'll be able to share that as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Peace. Copy that. All right, guys. So if y'all are tuning in, thank y'all so much. Yeah, we still got it going on. Like I said, you got to think quick on your feet. So we still got this going on. Mm. First two interviews, super amazing. First couple of interviews we've had, super amazing. I'm excited to have Roy on here. He brings so much dope energy. Let me take off this here. But yeah, so much dope energy. Now I know as far as with Facebook, um, not to um, post the Spotify or just like people I don't know. Like I have, like I said, plenty of artists and musician friends. I'm an artist myself, so just definitely playing that would be super dope. Um, all right, CBD Country is here. Awesome. So yeah, let me actually post their um, their info here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, we got CBD Country in the house. So, yeah, in a little bit, we're going to have Roy come on. He just went to go do something real quick. Let me put the CBD Country on here. And all right, so I have their page here, their website. So make sure to definitely check them out. And they're on Facebook and Instagram. So let me post this here. Boop. All righty. Yes, there we go. So shout out to our sponsors, the CBD Country. And yeah, like I said, we're over midway through of today's Texas CBD Fair Market. So in the future, I now know not to do the Spotify. So this will be like only on weird random occasions that this will go on YouTube. But I have it posted on Facebook still. The other part of the Facebook, interview, everything's still on there. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be downloading that here in a little bit so I can make sure to chop down all the content and everything. But yeah, when we on here, when we do this next week, it'll still continue being on Facebook. Like I said, this was just one of those uh, random situations, but you gotta think quick. I think that is a prime example of what we're having to do right now. And it's just all like, oh, what happens when you're blocked? Like, what can you do? So I feel like this is definitely this was a prime example of that. So make sure to check out our sponsor, CBD Country. We got Latitude as well, our other sponsor. Um, Art, Business, Wealth. Make sure to check out Gardopia Gardens. They're actually doing some amazing stuff for the community. I know right now they're getting sustainable home office that they're doing with the container home. They're actually teaming up with Latitude as far as for the Vote Earth initiative. We can't have a CBD fair market without talking about where the CBD comes from. And actually, we did the first ever CBD fair market at Gardopia Gardens last year in June. It was like right after the Texas Farm Bill had passed, and it all synced up perfectly aligned and everything like that. And so right after everything was passed, it was like a few days later. I was promoting it and I had planned it, prior to that. But when we actually did it, was like a couple of days after everything had went through. And so, yeah, I mean, during these times, I'm a firm believer of CBD. I first got introduced to CBD by way of hip hop. I'm a hip hop artist, influencer. And the first time I heard of CBD was by Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang Clan. And he had this Woo Goo, and it was like this oil, and it was CBD oil actually. And it was the vape version though. Like it was just like one hitter, everything like that. But that was my first time hearing about CBD, and that was like circa 2014. And then I would hear about it, periodically. It would just be brought to me. Actually, it was like I heard about it from that, and then I had a old business partner who, throughout the years was constantly like, "Yo, CBD, like." Let's get on it, let's do this. And finally, what was it, 2019, early 2019, I had this show, and this one DJ I've known for like a decade, instead of like the THC pens, he was just like, yo, you heard of CBD, try this, da, da, da. And I'm just all like, oh, yeah. At this point I definitely had heard about it, but even during that time, I only tried certain products. It wasn't until the flower was introduced to me, because like I'm a smoker. I love to smoke, and so that's when I really, at that point, like he was just like, all right, let's go into business. Da da da. We had the flower, and I tried it, and I was just like instantly, because I'm the type of person who I would do certain things. I go through fast, I go through detoxes. I went through 3 years of not eating meat. So I'm usually pretty aware when my body is doing something different, or when something's introduced to my body that's doing something different. And that was one of those moments that when I had smoked it, because I think it wasn't even a J or a blunt or anything like that. I think I just smoked it out of a pipe, and instantly it was just like this heaviness in my chest disappeared, this fogginess in my head disappeared, and I was just all like, whoa, what just happened? And instantly I was just all like, as an artist, I personally was just like, you know what, I really think that this will help a lot of my artist friends. I really think, we have a lot of musician, painters, writers that, we get into these modes of like super great deep depression, to the point that we've lost many due to overdosing, due to, alcohol or opiates or all of those different things. So that's especially in the hip hop community, but let alone in any musical genre, or any genre of art. There's been just this, stigma, and I feel like CBD is one of those things that can help with so much of that. I think about so many great people that we lost due to like health reasons, or drug overdoses and different things like that. And I'm just all like, man, like what if they had CBD? Because to me, CBD is like left brain and THC is right brain. And it's just all like, and like I said, I like to blend. So it's just all like, with me, it's combining the right brain ideas and like abstractness with the left brain, like, let's actually put this into action. Let's actually put this into action. And it's partially because it can. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so that's all it was. I was just getting the notification from Facebook. But it's the combination of those two hemispheres. And that's what I feel with CBD. Whenever I'm smoking CBD, I can. It's gotten to a point now where I'm just like, you know what? I'm making it like a ritual, to where it's like when I start my day, CBD. you know um, so, it's super awesome. So I'm seeing what's going on with this. I'm a little okay. There we go. Okay, cool. Came back. So little thing with that. And again, shout out to my sister. She turned 14 today. Um, yeah, she is into art. That's one of the things that I super love about her, is that she got into doing art. She's been drawing for a long time, and so I just definitely want her to continue pushing that along. So what we're gonna do here in a little bit is we're gonna have the CBD Country, Jonathan from the CBD Country, come on here in a little bit, and then after that, we're actually gonna speak with Roy here, because I know he is doing a couple of things here, so we want to make sure that everyone has the proper amount of time, like to just be able to fully. Um, I want everyone that I have on here. I want to make sure that they are heard in fullness. I don't want anyone to feel rushed. So when I have Roy come on here, I'll let him know. Like, yes, definitely come on here. um, after we have Jonathan. So that way, yeah, it'll be awesome. It will be awesome. But how are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Facebook's just letting me know your Facebook jail time is almost over. And during the break, I had to smoke my CBD. I was just all like, oh, I got the composition CBD pre rolls. And how that pretty much came about is my artist name is Mr. Composition. And, that originally started as just, what is the thing that you see most rappers and musicians writing, composition books. So I just grew up having and writing just in general. So, I adapted that particular name. I was like, 17, 16, 17-year old where like other rappers had like Lil something or different things like that. I was just like, I'm Mr. Composition, and so little did I know, fast forward to me being 25, 26, I end up releasing my first work of fiction, Ideas of Illusion. You could get at daptroll.com. And that added a whole nother layer to the idea of Mr. Composition. Not only, composing this composition of, the notebook, but also these composition of thoughts. Now I'm an author at this point, and then I started diving into, I've always been fascinated by astrology. I've always been fascinated by metaphysics and, different just knowledge in general. And so then, you have the composition of elements. You have everything is the composition of something, so then it got into when it came to branding, I was just like, okay, as an artist, what is something that I'm able to do? Okay, well, I'm into CBD, so I have the composition cigarettes that I'm working on, and then I have the composition pre rolls that I already have. And so it was just a play on Mr. Composition, and the fact that it's this composition of different flour, to create a whole new thing. So it's just all like that's the composition, and then I have the composition notebooks that I'm working on, and album, and I'm just all like, all right, this is going to be a whole branding thing here. But as y'all see on here, CBD Country. Um, Make sure to check them out. I have the website going across the screen here. I got their logo. But let me go ahead and remove the logo and bring the man behind the logo. Let me go ahead and remove this here. Remove. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring Jonathan in here. Okay, you're in. And so if you can, if you can actually maybe
Let me
move in
adjust you real
front
quick
of
here.
the table. Yeah, because it got there we go. That'll be better.
Yeah, yeah, shit. Excuse my CBD smoke.
Hey, it's all good. If I wasn't in the house, I would be smoking CBD right now too. But how are you
That's
doing,
why
Jonathan?
I'm doing good.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. So I got you on here, the CBD country. So if you can, tell the people a little bit about the CBD country, how y'all originated, different things like that.
Sure. Well, it started out really kind of difficult for us. My fiance suffers from MS. All right. So we started sampling CBD back way before Texas had decided to legalize. With the farm bill and everything else that has happened since then. So we were bringing in CBD from Colorado, all over, trying to find something that worked, right? We noticed that there was a lot of problems with improper labeling, things weren't what they said they were on the label. They weren't real clean, things like that. So one day that, hey, we can. My background is major manufacturing. Her background is legal and contracts. So CBD Country was born to fill what we thought was a need on, proper product with proper made in a clean environment. And, so we got with a chemist and created this brand and have just been kind of going since then.
Super awesome, super awesome. And what's super interesting is what really caught my attention was just the name CBD Country. Like what made y'all think of like to call it CBD Country? Because anytime that when I hear like country, I think of like it makes me think of just like this super large, organization or this type of things. I know you had mentioned in the comment section about wholesaling. Was that a part of it, like the wholesale aspect being like a country, or
So,
how did it originate?
so originally we had no plans to wholesale or anything else. Originally, our plans were strictly retail to the people that need it. Um, here in Dallas, especially around where we live, there's maybe 3 shops, not including American Shaman, but don't even get me started on those guys. Um, so, originally it started out, funny enough, we have a friend that her specialty is SEO. And for those of you that are tuned in, SEO is the way the internet sees you. Google, all these algorithms where, it's about content. So she ran a search for us about the highest SEO hits for CBD. And the highest searches are CBD. And then secondly, is CBD legal in my county? But funny enough, most people can't spell, or it autocorrects to country. So we took the two and kind of, you know, blended them together so that when people searched us here, we'd show up, honestly.
That is such a freaking awesome way. Like that's so smart. It's just all like, using those two things that autocorrect what is that one was right on point there. So it's really interesting. I
Yeah.
threw a CBD fair market in Dallas back in November. And it's very interesting as far as like there wasn't like there was a little bit more people that was coming from surrounding cities as far as vendors than the actual like vendors in Dallas, so then that was yeah back in November. So even with how quick things are moving, are you still seeing that there really isn't a lot of CBD shops that are coming out during this? Well, not during this time, but before everything started happening. There really wasn't a lot of CBD shops out.
Yeah, and there's still not, even before all the Corona and COVID-19 stuff. Um, in my area, there's 3 major shops that aren't head shops, right? Now every corner gas station and head shop has CBD of some sort. But true CBD shops where, like in my shop, it's not about the profit. We're not a corner store that's just trying to sell a product. Um, we tell people when they come into our shop, if it's their first time, through all the options. I've actually told quite a few of them, people that, hey, if you still don't feel comfortable, leave, fact check what I'm telling you, right? Go do your research. And when you do your research and you're more comfortable or you verified what I told you, come on back and we'll find you a product for you, right? Don't take me at my word. Which I work the counter at my shop. My wife is the owner. I'm co-owner, CEO. You know, everything. I work the counter behind my own store. So we like to interact with those people where in the store you just get somebody behind the counter. Usually the young 18, 20, right? That needs a job. Which there's a place for that, but yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of shops around here. I think there's 4 maybe.
Oh man, and I think that that's interesting because it's like here in San Antonio, well, we have like a lot of shops actually. Like we have a good grip of shops, but in certain places where I kind of thought that there would be a lot more, there's not, or there's not a lot of people that know about it. Like I did a CBD Fair market in Corpus, and not only was there not a lot of CBD retailers in general, but there wasn't just a lot of CBD vendors in general. Like it was pretty like dead. Like it was to a point where, if somebody, went out there and just had a shop, they would be great because there's negative competition out there. And it's I find
Yeah.
that that's a good and a bad thing. But during these times, how is your company able to stay afloat, as far as with social distancing with shops? Like, have y'all been adapting to more delivery or shipping or curbside?
So for us, we were and when COVID struck, we were between stores. We had a store out in Texas. It wasn't a great location to be honest. It's the neighborhood's kind of gone down in the last couple of years. We were deciding to move more towards the Dallas Richardson side of the Metroplex right about the time that this hit. So we're currently in between shops. So this was a perfect time for us to focus on our online only, our wholesale, and we do local delivery. I do contactless local delivery myself. Um, I drive all the orders. We do shipments. We will fulfill however somebody needs it, because to us, this truly is medicinal. Um, so if I have a patient in need, I'm going to make sure they get what they need.
And I think that that's super important because there was a lot of places that were what is considered essential, what's not considered essential. And to me, I was just all like, CBD is essential as fuck during this time. Like people are freaking out. People are not feeling, good, about what's going on just within themselves, and for a lot of good reasons. But, to sit up there and have something that can help chill them out, have something that can help, especially when it comes to all of the, benefits of it, and one of the things that I was just all like, CBD is like a knight in green armor right now. It's just all like, not in the sense that it's gonna, knock out COVID, but just for the sense of like, hey, chill out, because if not, that causes your immune system to weaken just off of that. So when I look at these different things, just like you're saying, like I feel like CBD definitely is essential during this time. And so, what are some of the products that you have that a lot of customers are getting right now?
We actually have a pretty good mix of our products. I don't particularly have one more than the other that I would say is better or sells better. It really depends on the person and what they need. As you can see, we have our products sitting out here. We do topicals. Uh, they're all lab made topicals. We have three different kinds that are infused with essential oils. We have a sleep, a calm, and a healing. Little story about the healing. My stepson had separated his shoulder playing football. He actually had to have surgery, plate, a bunch of metal screws. So he has a gnarly, I mean, just almost 6-inch scar that runs from his collarbone down. So we started putting the healing salve on him. And, of course, that kind of scar is still there. It will never go away. But it is not as raised and just red and all that anymore. It's almost completely skin tone now, and it's at least level with the skin. So, there are things that these can be used for. We have our sublingual oils. Uh, this one in my hand actually is our pet formula. We do 100 milligram natural flavoring with no flavor. It's all organic MCT oil, cold pressed avocado oil, CBD, sunflower lecithin, which we always source it non-GMO. We use a little bit of fresh vitamin E, and then we have a secret ingredient that we use that I'm not going to tell you, but it is also its purpose is to help open up your receptors. Um, it works well with blood flow, and it generally, from the research that we've had done in the lab, it actually seems to make it more effective absorption wise. So that's our pet formula. We also have a natural for in 100 milligram, 250 milligram, and 500 milligram for people. It's almost the exact same formulation, so it's also safe to use on your pets. I have a purebred Mastiff that's actually sitting out here with me, but he's old and lazy. So he takes the 250 milligram, and then we have a natural vanilla flavor. No sweet. It is actually a natural vanilla. Uh, Same thing. That's in a 250 and a 5. I don't believe you really need more than a 500, thousands, 50, 5. If you're taking that much, you're shocking your system, right? Your body doesn't need that much. You can't absorb that much, right? You're never going to absorb that amount of CBD. So it's just a waste, right? It's about microdosing long term and building up your, it's got to be a schedule. You can't just use CBD one day and hope that it fixes your problems. You really need to take it daily like a supplement. Farther down for our younger crowd, which me included, we do concentrated wax and shatter. Um, we do watermelon OG, blueberry OG, pineapple express, Girl Scout cookies. These are all CBD distillates uh, that you can dab. You can use if you have the ability to burn. You can also use it in the wax. Farther down on the end here that you can't see, we have our hemp flour. I've got some of our bigger bags there. We have 7 strains on it right now. Uh, we like to keep them fresh, keep them rotated. Right now it is Carolina, frosted lime, Hawaiian haze, special sauce, berry blossom, what was it, cherry wine #3, and I believe we still have sour space candy. Uh, like to keep it fresh. If grower that's got a good strain, we'll keep getting it for people if they like it. But every time there's a new harvest, we want to get fresh. I don't ever want to get my customers stuck with old, dried out products. because everybody knows you got to store it right. So we like to keep our flour rotated. And then we also do 1 gram hemp pre rolls. These are 100% flour pre rolls, no shake, no sugar leaf, nothing. When we get in a pound of our hemp flour, we actually break it down from the flour, grind it, and pack them ourselves by hand. These are all hand done. We don't use a machine, so we know that it is exactly 1 gram inside of here. They come labeled in these sealed tubes. They'll have your label. They'll have your total cannabinoid content, your total THC, and a scannable QR code. Because Texas is still kind of weird about this, and I myself back to the COAs, so that way everybody's covered and you're completely legal. We do that on all of our hemp flower to protect you, to protect our law enforcement partners, because a lot of times in this industry people look bad upon law enforcement, but they can't tell the difference. And even though personally we feel that cannabis should be legal, the law is what the law is right now, right? So we just want to make sure everybody's covered.
Oh man, that is super awesome. Like that, I was looking at the flower, and it is definitely one of those things that you look at, especially with the freshness. One of the things that you said for sure. When I take this out, I'm gonna clip it so that way I highlight it. But it's very important. Oh, the micro dosing. I think that that's one of the things that I don't think a lot of people really take into consideration when it comes to interacting with CBD in general, or a lot of these things. It's like they want a get rid of the thing, quickly type of thing. But like one of the vendors that I had, he is a veteran, and he actually started back walking because of his consistent use, the regimen of using the CBD over time. And I think that a lot of people, they don't realize that shock to the system. You really start to miss the magic of what the plant actually does for your system.
Right.
We have those cannabinoids with us as well. So it's that interaction. So yo, I'm super excited. They're like, those products look super dope. I cannot wait to be able to clip this on. Before I let you go, and if you're free later, I want to bring you back on. But before I let you go, did you have any words of advice to either small business owners or just families in general during this time to keep them going?
Um, for the small business owner, especially, we get asked all the time about people wanting to get into this industry. Um, we tell people don't overreach. There are a lot of guys that we have seen come into the industry hot and heavy, overreach, take out a bunch of loans, and it's not a magic bullet. You're not going to get rich. This is about serving people. So, you have to model your business that way. Do what you can, but don't get in on these deals where you got these guys that are telling they're going to give you $100,000 to open up this business. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Take the time, do the research, get quality product. White label has its place, but just remember that if they're white labeling for you, they're white labeling for everybody. That's why you need to create your own brands in a clean environment. There are plenty of chemists that are looking to do this kind of thing. They are the people to talk to. Don't talk to the manufacturer down the street. Talk to somebody that understands the science, understands how the body works. For the families, you know, there's 8 of us. It's me, my fiance, and all of our kids. Um, Stay safe, stay protected. Also, watch out for your neighbors because it is not maybe you that gets sick, but you can bring it home to somebody else that is much more susceptible. So, keep up your medicine. If you need your medicine, feel free to call. to reach out to us. We'll make sure that you get it.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And Native Knight says CBD Country. Yeah, they're in the comment section. So, yes, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, it's for y'all tuning in. This is one of our sponsors. You got to hear directly from the man himself. Make sure to hit them up. Check out the website. It's scrolling right at the bottom, www.thecbdcountry.com. Check out everything that they got, and you'll see more from them. We're gonna have them all throughout the rest of the show here and for the month. They are one of our sponsors, so yeah, y'all see them all the way till June, and we'll see as far as after that. But y'all gonna see a lot of them until then. So make sure that y'all tune in. And Jonathan, thanks so much for tuning in and giving people
Thanks
that
for having me.
information and dropping those gems. Because, like I said, a lot of people really need to, know about the microdosing. But enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
You too.
All right, thank you. Talk to you soon. All righty, y'all. Y'all just heard the man, and now we're gonna have the ever so patient Roy come in with the Carpenter's Apprentice. And again, to y'all that are tuning in, that was Jonathan with the CBD Country. Make sure to check them out. Our other sponsor, Ladison.com. Make sure to check them out. But let me actually get your information, Roy, so that way that's going on the screen, and I'm gonna bring you on here as well. So it's gonna do a nice little countdown, and it'll bring you on. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Yeah. Boom. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty daggone good in the green room while I'm waiting.
Heck yeah.
I had some green with me, and I'm feeling very loose, relaxed, available.
Right? Oh man, I'm super glad to see that. With being able to be a part of so many different things, with whether you're doing the Carpenter's Apprentice or you're working with Growing Empowered together during this time. What is your thoughts on technology and the fact that we're able to do this? Like,
I don't. Man, look, I got a very complicated relationship with technology. So it's you ask that question, and it's just like because I've been smoking. Also, I have like a 20-page answer that I now got to condense into 20 words, right? So, I love the ability to be able to connect like this, but it is very scary what they're doing with technology too. The way that they're tracking us, the way that they're monitoring what we're up to. That Google and Apple have come together to make sure that we. And all of it is in the name of coronavirus safety, but we have no idea how they'll use it after this, or how they've been using it before this. Was I supposed to not get that conspiratorial?
oh, Oh
Okay.
no. Yeah, you got. I had to make sure I had your the Instagram for the TC Apprentice scrolling at the bottom.
Okay, man.
But yeah, like that's one of the things. It does make me think about that a lot because it's just all like during these times. It is this duality that goes on. There's this progression that's going on, but there is this also more access that they have, that just in general, whether it's, the apps that you download or the different stuff. Like I was reading this article about, Google and its issues with Windows 10 and this whole privacy breach and stuff that are going there. And I'm just all like, fuck, like I just upgraded to Windows 10. Like I totally was so reluctant to upgrade to Windows 10 because personally I was like, Windows 7 is the shit. They had it perfected. I was just all like, I didn't stay on Windows 8, you know, and personally I love Macs in general as a creator. I'm just all like the machine itself, as far as video, audio, everything like that, it just performs better, you know. But with PC, I've like been PC just because there is still its use, its accessibility of, you know, not being so restricted, you know. But so I get torn because I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna install Linux. Like
Well, you use computers in a totally different way than I use them. I use them for like, I have had a computer, a laptop, and a desktop over the past 3 years, and I've maybe cracked it open 3 times, either one of them, period, both like combined total 3 times. So I use it for very simple stuff. To me, Windows 98 is when they had already hit the pinnacle, and they should have just stopped there. It was super easy to use. I mean, I think you could probably still use that operating system today, and you'd be okay. If you, because all I need is Word and the internet.
oh yeah, definitely. And just to let you know, whenever you talk, I mute myself because it stops it from lagging. And you know, with the podcast and everything like that. So
But
yeah,
at least
so
you
no.
told me that, because on my end, it can seem like, well, fuck, that didn't land.
Right. It's just all like like
Hey, I guess this is what bombing feels like.
right. Exactly. So what I wanted to reach out because I was just, you know, I got to listen to the podcast as far as the recent one with the doc. That one was so dope. So what I want you to do is let people know what the Carpenter's Apprentice is, and then also what, you know, is going on with Growing Empowered Together. You know, if a lot of y'all don't know, Roy recently had like a 500 episode celebration, you know. So this is definitely one of those men that are hard working as far as with consistent content. You know, he's all over the place interviewing people. But I'll let him explain it. And shout out to Kid Yo, he just dropped the comment. So he's
And
one of our sponsors.
so you and Kinyo were probably y'all were like two of the first creators I'd ever even come across when I was starting things. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember meeting me? Dude, I don't know if we
Yes,
met through Kinyo or not.
yes, yeah.
At the garden, right?
Hmm.
At Gardopia?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure. So then, yeah, so we went there, and you guys just, I was just brand new to the game. I think we had put out less than 20 videos, period. And you guys just put out content so consistently. I said, like, there was other creators out there who were creating, but at a much slower clip. And I thought to myself, well, if these guys can do it, why is not everybody else keeping up? I mean, the more lottery tickets you scratch, the more likely you are to hit a winner. So that was I just the reason I bring that up is to say you guys were a major inspiration for me being able to be consistent and keep a certain clip to the interviews, because there was times when I was like, this is too much, or I just can't sustain this, and then I would think like, look, if they're doing it, I have no excuse. I need to do it too. I mean, you know, so having other people that you can look at and say, those are hard workers, and someone to model yourself after, that's really cool. Now, TCA, what is it? What we like to call ourselves is like a talk show for the streets. So we talk to real people about their real stories and have a whole lot of real fun. And we go all over town. We talk to whoever we want about whatever we want. Usually it has, so there's two ways that the show gets driven. Either somebody hires us to go out, or it's just something that I'm very interested in and I want the people to know about. And those are like some of the most favorite ones that I have because, man, like even right now, we're working on some great investigative journalism kind of stuff. On my part, it's not journalism; it's commentary. But we've gotten the opportunity to work with real media outlets now, and we're able to talk with them and figure out. Well, I don't know what I can and cannot say about all that, but what I can say is this: we have a tremendous opportunity to do way cooler shit now than I thought we would ever have the opportunity to do. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, and I kind of want to stop talking. I feel like I've gone on too long a stretch on my own. So if you could jump back in, but I didn't want
Oh
to
no, no, no! You're doing good. You're doing good. No, no, just because what I like with doing these is like I like being able to really allow everyone to just say what it is that they need to say. The main thing is that like this is what I want listeners and viewers to be able to do and realize is that these are everyday people. You know, people like Roy, people like other guests that I've had. You know, we've physically been able to interact with each other. We've been able to do other stuff on the outside world. So it's just all like this is, you know, it's affecting this particular time right now is affecting everyone in a unique way. And I feel like this is just like if me and you were to, you know, go out and hang out and catch up, it's pretty much like a lot of what this is on top of just giving each person the ability to kind of speak on things that they normally wouldn't on other platforms. You know, like there's no filter on here, so it's just all like. But we want to be able to tie it into a lot of what's going on. So yeah, like keep on.
Man, well, that's pretty cool to know. It's interesting because right now, when you just told me that, I was thinking I was already comfortable talking to you because, you know, we're friends and such. But just having you say that right there, I don't know if this is important for you to know as an interviewer, but just seeing you and how that worked, it made me think, oh, maybe I need to do that too. But when you told me that, it kind of reassured me and made me feel like, oh, you know what? I don't have to have my guard up or be so polished or anything. I can just be myself. It was nice.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, man. So the Carpenter's Apprentice, you know, I'm very honored I was able to be a guest on there.
That's
That
yes,
was
you're
this
one of our first 100.
right?
Yeah,
Like that was super fun, you know. And the one thing that I was able to see is the, you know, seeing how it originally started and then
yeah.
seeing it like grow on. You know, it's like me being a part of the first 100 and then you being to 500. It's just all like, yo, you just all like, all right, let's take this as far as we can go. You know.
Well, I am sure you have found with creating. There's sometimes when you kind of look at it and you're like, what the fuck? How did this become something that I could like? Something that I love is something that other people are loving and enjoying too, and it just kind of fuels you to keep going. Like, what? It's so fun. You just cannot stop. Hey, but check this out from one of our first interviews, from the interview we did with you. Actually, I was just cleaning the house the other day, and I happened to come across something here. Let me see. Dang it, I don't have it in the front bookshelf, but I came across your book.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, you had given me a copy of your book, and I had it there. I just found it yesterday. I was unpacking some boxes. Ah, shit, I keep getting distracted. But okay, wait. You want me to talk about the Carpenter's Apprentice? Let me tell you something cool about that. We just yesterday hit 650 episodes. So the party was in December, and since then, we've got another 150 under our belt. And that 150 has not been like an insignificant 150. We've had some milestone interviews and like videos that have come through there. Oh, can I talk a little bit about one cool thing?
Yeah, definitely.
We had one. We had one interview, or it wasn't even an interview. It was just a report from the constable's office in the South Side, and I was just saying some information I had got that someone there had been infected with coronavirus, a lieutenant constable, or deputy, something like that, and the constable didn't tell nobody. So I got mad, and I put a video on the internet saying what I knew and showing people what was what. There was like police tape on the cars that had been infected and shit. And that interview, man, first time I ever felt like, oh shit, that stone landed and it made waves across the media and the populace, I would think. And man, that was just something else to see. I like to realize, like, oh shit, we can. The only things that separates us from journalists is the belief that you are one.
100%. I think that is so important. I'm gonna make sure that when I use that particular part as, you know, just the snippet for people to listen to this interview, because you know that's one of the things that I started realizing when it came to writing articles on my website. It was just like I would write these articles about things that I believed in. Like there was one time where there was this show going on at well, it was the White Rabbit, but um, it was like for abused victims and different things like that, and it was like all these different dope artists. And I went there and I took some videos and everything like that, and then I wrote this article which a bunch of people liked it. It's the same thing as far as like when they had the container homes at Tony G, and I was just all like, so I'm able to just go out and do stories about whatever I want, and wait, I have that power to do that. And it's like, just what you were saying. It's just all like, yes, the only difference is that belief. And in this day and age where you had to go to school, you had to have degrees and everything in order to be this. You now, with your thoughts in your phone or your computer or whatever, you can, if you put in the work, that's what makes you that journalist. That's what makes you that videographer. That's what makes you that painter. It doesn't matter as far as what school or anything you went to in this day and age, because what people want is your experience. And if you're someone who is able to deliver on a high level and you don't have any degree in this day and age, they're going to take that versus the person that has the degrees in a lot of cases, because of what you're able to deliver. That's where influencers win right now. Influencers are able to literally do that influence. And when I think about the political climate, or I think about things that are happening locally, it's just like, wait, I have that ability to say something, to call somebody out on their shit, like that's affecting, my people, that's affecting, somebody potentially, and y'all are just throwing this under the rug.
And you know what? So, to that point, and to the point that you are a journalist, if you decide you want to be, a lot of people know a lot of little things about politics, but they keep it to themselves either because they think no one is interested or because they don't want to rock the boat. But if you don't give a fuck either way and you do have some information, let the people know what that information is and let them decide for themselves. Don't just keep it to yourself if you have the ability to do so. Um, and I guess I just want to say that because when I finally realized, like, oh fuck, we can report the news ourselves, it was almost like I started wondering who was trying to make us believe that we couldn't before. I mean, who was deciding who were the authorities before this? So it was almost like I was having this slow process where I was coming through a breakthrough where I realized all of us should be doing this from the ground up, not from the top down. Like, news should be us telling each other what's going on the internet, and it will, like, the stories that matter and that are true will get filtered out through the democracy of the internet. People will downvote and get rid of shit that sucks and not true, and then they'll upvote the other stuff. So when I just started thinking about news like that, it was just like a radical transformation in my mind where I thought, okay, well, if I think that news should come from the bottom up and not the top down, then what can I do to change that? And so right now, what we're doing with the Carpenter's Apprentice is building out a network of reporters around town, and we have basically a reporter in every region of town now, and each one of them is working on their own talk show, their own interviews, and there's a day that I foresee coming when it's not just them doing the reporting, but it's them pushing out stories from other people from their neighborhoods too, and us doing some kind of massive show all together. But I don't know what that looks like exactly yet. I'm only now coming to it.
No, that sounds super dope. Like, I mean, when you think about the fact that you're able to do that, especially in the different parts of town that, we're from, whether it's the west side, the south side, the east side, there's stories all the time that never reach local news, let alone the national news or different things like that. That is very important. And who are the people who are the networks that are able to deliver that type of information? There's so many people that are like, this publication lacks in this content and this publication lacks in diversity. And we're in a time, and you're doing that perfectly, where you're able to now bring in all of these things and be a platform that that you're able to create. Like you're just able to be like, hey, this is something that I'm passionate about. Now you're empowering other people. And I think that that is a perfect segue into grow and empower together. So, tell the people as far as your interaction with that, how you first, got on with it and what you're currently doing with it.
GET is actually an acronym for Growing Empowered Together, which is a nonprofit that works to get people who are not traditionally involved in the political process involved in the political process. There is different branches of GET as a nonprofit organization, but one of the branches of that tree is the podcast. It's called the Get It Podcast, and that's what we do on that podcast. There's 4 co-hosts on it. It's well, 5. There's 2 females that interchange. So we have Bella, Andrea, Chad, Ryan, and myself, and each one of us has our own perspective on politics and political things. So on that podcast, what we're trying to do right now is craft our voice. Is what is it? And we're getting really, I feel it. So with that show, when you watch it, we'll talk about an issue and we'll interview a guest, and then each of us will give our perspective. We'll fight it out. We'll talk shit to each other. We'll do whatever we have to do to get through that issue, and we won't be afraid to have tough conversations with each other. I mean, we're candid in that way, and that show has just come a long way. I'm so proud of what we're doing at Get because, if you listen to our earlier episodes with Get, they're kind of a hot mess. It's kind of we're trying to find our footing. You can tell we're still figuring it out. And as we've been going, just even the last episode we did, I was like, okay, this is getting better. Everyone is starting to take ownership of their corner of the show, and it's really a fun process just to watch 4 young people come together and talk about issues. First of all, it's not often that you meet other young people that enjoy politics even a little bit, and then especially not that you meet somebody that enjoys it enough to talk about it for more than 10 minutes without their eyes glazing over. So it's really cool to be on Get. I got involved with Get. Dr. Lauren Browning is the one who's in charge of it. And in 2012 or 13, something like that, she had asked me to get involved with the beginnings of Get. And I was like, who the heck is this old kook? And I thought, I don't know what pipe dream she's selling, but she's not suckering me. So then I walked away, right? I don't even give it paid any mind. I walked away from it, didn't think about it again. Then all these years later, what year was it? 2019. A comedian friend of mine sent me an email and said, "Hey, I'm doing some game show with an organization called Get. The game show is about politics, and they need a person to fill in tomorrow. They had somebody cancel." So I said, "Okay, I'm in. I'm in." So I went over there, and fuck, wouldn't you know it? I don't. God bless everybody who was on that program that day, but I just happened to be more well. How do I say this? I happened to watch the news a touch more, I guess, than everybody else. So fuck, we slaughtered them. Our team just slaughtered the competition.
I remember
And I
that.
was like, even I was starting to feel a little bad, but in the heat of competition, I can't stop. So yeah, the doc came up afterwards. She messaged me again and she said, "Look, it seems like you're really in touch with what's going on. We really need to work together." And then we all got together and I didn't. It's so cool because you were there too at those original meetings when we just didn't know what the fuck at all we were doing, and we were talking about it. You remember those?
Oh yeah, no.
And I think back to even that first meeting. I remember coming in, and first of all, I thought it was a solo show, so I was like, "Who the fuck are all these people?" and
Oh yeah.
and then we had to like figure out how it all worked, and then we went through like I don't know how many female co-hosts before we found these 2 that have stuck with us and it really blended, and it just feels really good now.
No, it's really awesome. Like the more and more that it's really cool because I get to really see how things progress. The thing with Lauren, shout out to Lauren, is
Yeah.
she's thorough. Like working with her, I realized how much other steps are needed when it came to production and just things that look great. if there's anything that, no one can ever take away, is the fact that she really wants what she's delivering to look good, because she knows that, she wants to make sure that you're able to hear it, you're able to see it clearly, you're able to get the message. And I think that that's the really cool thing, is that she's very open minded. We've been able to do the game show, the dance, freaking dance for the causes, like, like all these different things. And I think that that's especially in neighborhoods like where we come from. It's just all like, it's empowering us to be creative. Like, you're giving me a platform for me to be me with no judgment. Like, I think that that's very powerful, and I think that that is the beginning steps, whether she realizes it or not, to actually getting people to vote. First, you have to empower them to feel good within themselves, to even feel comfortable to even get out there on the polls, and I think that she's
It,
doing a
you
good
know,
job as far as with that.
it's so funny because people are always trying to figure out why people don't vote, and I'm like, some of these, you like, how do you not know what real people live like? Some of these people don't even give a fuck about their own lives. How do you expect that they will give a fuck about politics? It's not until, like you said, we empower people, invest in them, and show them that if life has purpose, then it gives it meaning. That will really be able to. I see. To me, the trick is to activate individuals. The political part will come afterwards. Just in your path to self development and progress, you will start to vote just on your own. But really, I think what we're facing is a real crisis of confidence. It's like people just don't have the confidence in themselves or in their ability to make change in their own lives and in the world that they see. And what I love about Doc is that she saw something like that too. But instead of just bitching about it or saying, hey, one day, how many people have you met that one day I'm going to start a nonprofit? One day I'm going to do, and you're like, well, but man, how long have you been saying that?
Right. Like, they'll be doing that for years, like.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, don't start accepting donations. Just kidding.
Right.
You know how they passed that hat a little early, but so Doc actually did it though, and not only did she do it, but she put her money where her mouth was, and she put the money into the organization so that it could work. And
Yeah.
so this it brings me to a larger point though, and something that I think the Doc and Git have done for me personally, and I don't know about you, but I'll just say for myself, they made a commitment. I didn't know this, but when the organization was started, they made a commitment that anytime they asked anybody to lend their talents to the organization, they were going to make sure they got paid for it, that they got compensated, even if it wasn't a huge check. They were going to make sure there was a check in that person's pocket. When Git first gave me a check, it may have been the first time I ever got a check for the Carpenter's Apprentice. I just don't think it had ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what, man? That moment for me was such a. I was like, wait a minute. If she thinks that my talents are worth paying me for right now, I bet you there will be others. And all I, and, but it just takes one person believing in you for you to believe in yourself a little bit more. And so Git did that for me, like on a very personal level.
Oh yeah, and that's a lot of, that's the one thing that I noticed constantly, was the fact that, yeah, it was one of those things where it was just all like, even if you felt mediocre, or like you were just starting off, that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't be compensated for your time. And I think that she was able and is able to build a lot of people up in that way, because, by us feeling empowered,
Yeah.
for us being us, we can then, be more passionate about getting people to take more notice with what's going on around them, and I think that, that is super dope, because when I heard that y'all were on a initiative. So explain to the people what this initiative is, as far as with the face mask and the reasoning behind getting the face mask.
Okay, so the campaign is called Mask Not Capes. And I want to be clear, though I am assisting with it, our co host Ryan, he is like the one really spearheading it. Him and Dr. Browning, they really are doing a lot to make this thing happen. Okay, so Mask not capes. What we're doing is anybody who has an N95 mask, the really fancy medical kind. There's a lot of different people who might have one just laying around. Tradesmen, artists, uh, whoever the fuck, maybe you just have one for whatever reason, right? And if you have some of those N95 masks and they're unused, we're partnering with the local hospital to get those N95 masks to them in exchange for donating your N95 to the hospital through us. We will give you a cloth mask that you can wear and use, and those are totally sufficient for what we're doing out here just as everyday citizens. But what they need in there is those N95 masks because they're really on the front lines fighting this thing.
And that is so freaking awesome. And even when I was just like listening to the concept, I was just all like, oh, this is so important because my mom works in the medical field as well,
Yeah,
and it's one of those things that, it's like, yo, she's on the front line, these medical, workers that are out there, they're the ones like direct, full fledged, access with what's going on. And I'm just all like, that's super important. And like I was telling Lauren, I released this song Face Mask on March 20th. It was like before everything was about to go down. And it was the weekend before they were telling us that starting Monday, these curfews or quarantine and, stores are shutting down. I was just like, I went to the store and I saw like all that empty aisles and I was just all like, yo, what in the world, But then I started noticing, just a lot of the panic buys, a lot of the just, people that was just all like, not really taking a time to actually like see actually what's going on and where the attention needs to actually be at, and of course, with people not able to work or having to work from home or having to close down businesses and everything like that, this I watched this webinar and it was saying how this is the perfect time to, instead of being quiet, to make as much noise as possible. And they brought up the comparison between Kellogg's and Post during the Great Depression, and it was just all like during that time, Post decided to stay quiet, all the while Kellogg's like jumped up with the advertising, even introduced a whole new thing, which was Rice Krispie treats, and it had the Snap Crackle and Pop L's, like, and we see as far as what happens because no matter whether there's a pandemic or whatever it is that's going on, there's certain ways there's essentials or things that people need. People forget America is a consumer place, so when it comes to, they're going to spend money regardless, that's where we're fueled by, and so when I saw as far as the mask and I seen the different things that were happening, I did this actually before I started it. There was already people using my song on TikTok to make videos, and I seen people making these hundreds of like masks and different things, and they were just in the background. So I want to reach out to them, and hopefully I can like have them as a guest next week. And it would be cool if I can have Ryan as a guest next week as well. But if I can somehow infuse, them with them looking for places to donate these masks that they're making and somehow get that to go to get, I think that would be really cool because there were several people making cloths. There was this one that looked like it was like a factory, and there was like a stack full of just freaking things, and I was all like, what in the world is going on?
So your song got used in all these videos?
Yeah.
Wow. And were you at that time the only one with face mask as a title?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like when I looked at it and I was just like, but when it comes to art, and I think this shows what people are made of during these times. It's like when shit hits the fan, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna create art. I'm going to try to help. I'm gonna try to do all of these things because that just is how I make myself, that's how I feel useful, you know. And it's just all like, with everything that's going on, the best thing to do is to use what you're good at, use your influence, use your talents, use your skills. And especially during this time, you want to work on your brand. Like, this is the time where, you know, brands, businesses have to go in on content, bringing out recycled content, putting out all this stuff, because this is the type of, you know, they say that most people are online during the holidays, as far as like Christmas and all of this. Well, this topples, you know, this is the time when the most people are online at one time, you know, so your access to people is going to be a lot, you know, better. And so we're on the CBD Fair and Market show. And so, you know, I have to ask you questions about cannabis and CBD and all of those
This is the news
things.
I've been waiting for.
So, you know, the interesting thing that I recently had found out about you is that you actually, I don't know if you still are, but you were doing like videos on strand testing and everything like that. So, like, how did that start, and where did your whole love for cannabis, you know, even come from?
Dude. All right, back to the cannabis love. I had done like a 2 to 3 year stint just being a criminal and a professional fuck up, basically. And I was like, I had never tried weed before. I was about 25, and but I was doing like every other drug in the book. So I'm at some trap house, and they're passing around a joint, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it this time. Let me try it. So I hit it once, nothing, and we're all sitting outside, and I pass it again, around again, and I take a puff and pass it. And then I looked up, and I was like, man, have y'all ever seen how beautiful the moon is? And just from that moment on, it was over, brother. I knew it. And I remember, like, I didn't know if it was that same session or if it was a subsequent one, but I remember turning to somebody and being like, I have gobbled up whole CVS's trying to catch this feeling, this buzz. You know what I mean? So then I started using it. And, you know, between that and my faith, I feel like the marijuana gave me the, I don't know how to call it, like maybe just the noise quieted down with the marijuana. It could just turn down the volume a little bit on everything that was all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And then strengthening my faith could show me how to build a foundation that would put me in a better position to handle life. So those two things working in sync with each other really started a turnaround for me. And in the process of that turnaround, so I was a politician before I was a criminal. Well, some would say I was a criminal too before before I was a professional criminal. So I did politics before. So then I go into crimes, and then I come out, and now I'm trying to rebuild my life, and I'm doing carpentry and just trying to like be a decent man. I had no thoughts of helping anybody else at that time. I was just trying to get my ship straight. And then once I did, or got to a position where I was like, okay, I can do more now. I'm ready to take on just a little more and a little more. Finally, at some point, I was like, I need to communicate with other people again. I had burned every bridge I had because I turned my back on the bad lifestyle. So all those friends I had to totally cut out. And then the people from the lifestyle before, the politician stuff, they knew I was a criminal after. So they had all just like, I was like the plague to them. You know, everybody kind of turned their back with the exception of my family. And so I just stuck right there, but I knew I needed friends. Like I needed a way to get out to people again because I didn't really have any friends. I couldn't think of that many people to call if I had something that I wanted to do or talk about.
Yeah.
It was pretty lonely, honestly. And then I knew I liked marijuana, and I was like, well, there's other people who must like it too. But I was broke, so I couldn't review strains and shit. And I couldn't review wraps. I had enough money to get wraps. I could throw
He's like, I got the wraps. I just need the herb.
yeah, yeah, man. I was like, come on, man, sell me a nickel.
Right.
uh, so then I go to a local shop here in the South Side. It's called Fly Times now, and I went there and I talked to the guy behind the counter, and I said, hey man, you know, if I do this, will you help me out? Can you hook me up a little with this and that? I said, it's brand new. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I have this idea to do a review show, and it was called Roy Aguion because it was just my name on YouTube. And he goes, you know what? I will help you out. He didn't tell me he'd give me for free. He gave me like a 10% discount or something like that. But and then every now and again he'd give me something. But He goes, the only
Yeah.
thing I'm going to ask from you is consistency. Funny how he said that word right before I even started too. He said, don't, whatever you do, don't stop it. He goes, we'll help you out, but just don't quit on it. And I was like, okay, that's important. So then I said yes, and the whole beginning of the Carpenter's Apprentice, even the reason for the name change, was because I was reviewing weed wraps, and you can go back to YouTube and see all the weed reviews, weed wrap reviews we were doing. I would judge things on a 1 through 5 leaf scale, like the marijuana leaf, and so like 5 would be the highest compliment I could give somebody, and 1 would be just, try to avoid at all costs. And I reviewed all kinds of wraps, all kinds you wouldn't even imagine. And then once one of those videos got 250,000 views, and it was for how to pack one of these.
Ooh,
Um,
goodness.
so
Oh
when that
man.
happened, I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gaining traction, baby!" And I was developing my skills because I was solo talking to the camera. Nobody who I knew or loved knew about the show because I was just doing it to the internet. Embarrass myself, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
keep that shit private. You don't want people to be seeing that. So, but the people on the internet were responding to it, and I was having good conversations in the comments. People were saying good things. I had some success with that one video, and that's when I was like, okay. First of all, flight times ran out of different things for me to try, so I was running out of content to share, and I was getting fucking bored just smoking and talking, and it was just boring to me. So then I got in about started doing interviews, man. And then but everything that we did was with the cannabis wraps. That's our whole love. That's how they got involved with the Carpenter's Apprentice. We've gone to Colorado on the show now. King Palm has become a sponsor. Every now and again, we work together on this or that project. It's just fantastic, man. I could not imagine this.
Man, that is like super legit. Like, and it's one of those things that I want people to really, who are tuning in or that goes back and watch this, to really understand. You said something so important, and that is consistency. And anytime that I've seen the accomplishment of any goal, it was through consistency. It was through straight up consistency. And it's hard to be consistent when you don't know what it is that you want, or where it is that you're even going, and sometimes it's just having that faith. I know you had brought that up earlier, and so when it comes to when it comes to um your faith, and especially with smoking, a lot of people think, like, how can he be a man of faith, smoking? And I'm just all like, well, I don't think you know a lot about faith, or what these healing herbs are actually used for, especially during ancient times, especially during, it is medicine. Like, this isn't alternate medicine. This is the original medicine.
The original. Well, we're that alternate shit, and we're not exactly sure what's what.
Exactly. And so when did you first even hear about CBD? Like, what was like, when did it pop up for you?
It's funny that guy was talking about Dallas, the one who was on before from CBD Country, because I was in Dallas, man, and I was actually I was hooked on opiates, and like I mean bad. Like I was having withdrawals and shit if I didn't have them daily. So I was running out of a supply. I didn't have any connects out there in Dallas, so I was fucking scrambling, bro. And one day I went out and about on a mission to go to smoke shops and try to find anything that they had legally that could suppress that whatever the fuck that hate
Yeah.
that was telling you like get more drugs. So I saw on the internet something called CBD, and they said it was legal marijuana. And I was thinking it was like Climax, that K2 shit.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
quite understand what it was, but I was like, fuck it, I'm down to try whatever. Let's just see what's up. So I went on a hunt. There was one place in like all of Dallas at that time that had anything that even mentioned CBD. So I drove to that place. It was an office building with a bunch of suites, and they were closed. And I was like, fuck. So then the whole rest of that day, I was on a mission to find the CBD shit and couldn't find it anywhere. But that was my first ever encounter with CBD. And since then, it's been a pretty beautiful journey.
Oh man, and I love hearing how people first interact with CBD because it's just all like it comes to people at a very specific time. I see where it came into my life, and with me, I think that the CBD is more so like my shield with smoking cigarettes and that nicotine. Like I feel like that same kind of thing with the opiates. That's that nicotine dependency as well. Especially for someone who just like smokes cigarettes. Just because of the simple fact that I like smoking. And so sometimes when you get into that, like, you like smoking and we're in a particular place where, can't just like pull out a fucking J like it's nothing, like at the job or something, unless you're in the car, and so the cigarettes were kind of like that crutch. And plus, like me, like I do a lot of research, and the most coolest people that I ever see in entertainment smoke. Like it doesn't matter if it's anime, it doesn't matter if it's like a freaking deep thinker, author, everything. I always see the freaking smoke. Even wizards. We're talking about Gandalf with the motherfucking pipe and everything like that. So I'm just all like, yo, that is me. But the cool thing about learning these different herbs that you're able to smoke, you're able to find out that, oh, there are stuff that I can smoke a lot, and not nearly be close to getting any type of like your body getting fucked up or anything like that. you know so it's
And
very
that's what happens when you live in the hood. Sometimes you hear that's part of the territory. A little bit, you might hear an ice cream truck.
exactly. So what is one of the things that you cannot wait to get back to when all this shit is said and done?
I love hustling, brother. I mean, I really enjoy going out there, chasing contracts, making my bread, developing the mission for this show. I enjoy that very much. But I was concerned in the beginning because I felt like all of my ability to create or do good things was only by bringing people together, and that was specifically what they were telling us not to do anymore. So that fucking scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh no, how am I supposed to still make an impact or a difference without being able to connect people? And I didn't know, but found a way to adapt. So while I think it's cool, like to have a new trick in the book, I can't wait to be able to go back to that, to where I can make the human connections again, where we can bring people together. Like, there's something about bringing, I don't want to say a lot of folks, but maybe like anywhere between 10 to 20 people who are real movers and shakers, and they're like on the ground. These are people who are coming up. It's really cool to get all of us together in a room. And I would like to go to Jokesters and invite everyone out just to bond and get to know each
Oh
other
yeah.
in a setting that wasn't professional. Yeah, I think you have to be able to have conversations that are kind of beautiful like that. Um, yeah. So, anyways, I can't wait to do that. I want to have everybody come back to. I want to be able to bring people into a room together. Let's all synchronize with one another. Let's get to know each other because when we leave those rooms, the individual conversations they'll have with each other afterwards are going to be really powerful. Man, yeah, yeah. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, there we go. That's one of the things that I'm excited about, as well. And just before I let you go, let the people know where they can find you and leave them with some words of encouragement. Whether it's the people that are around you, other artists, creators, or the people that are on the front line. Just leave them with some words of encouragement.
Um, okay, first you can find us on Facebook at The Carpenter's Apprentice. On YouTube, you can find The Carpenter's Apprentice, but I would caution you. Basically, that's a historically archived place. There's not really a lot of action going on there. But you can follow us on our most active platform, which is Instagram at tc.apprentice. And over there, we fucking make shit happen. We're cooking over there at all times. As to the second part of the question, some wisdom. Here's the here's the really, 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 really cool thing is that according to the good book, the glory of God is within all of us, not just one of us, not just some of us, not a group of us, but in all of us. And I think there's something really, really special about that, that the glory of God is within all of us. That means that we are able to do something that is God-like in that we can be so transformative that it will reflect the goodness of God. So, why am I saying that? To say this: don't wait, don't hesitate. Your destiny is calling you, and we don't have time for you to fiddle faddle with options. Chase your dream because the rest of the world is counting on you to do it.
Woo! I wish I could get some like fire emojis to show up on the screen and whatnot. Just like that was super dope. But thank you so much, Roy. Y'all make sure I got the Instagram going right across the bottom. Make sure to follow them. They're doing some amazing stuff. And thank you again, brother, for coming on here. I hope you stay nice, peaceful, feeling good with the herbage. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me on your program, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
All right, bye bye.
Peace. All righty. So that was Roy with the Carpenters Apprentice. Hopefully, y'all are still tuned in. Um, yeah, we just wanted to make sure that people, are able to come through. Get their messages out. Right now, I'm looking on YouTube to make sure that everything's showing up on there perfectly fine. And it is. So what I wanted to do real quick before we end this out, I want to get, definitely some more shout outs to our sponsors there. We had the CBD Country that came through. Man, I love hearing like origin stories. Like I really do. Like that whole thing as far as like the autocorrect, like that is super awesome. And sometimes, things like that really just happen like that. It's really cool. So I want everyone to make sure to give them a follow on all their social media. I'm about to put the website back on here. And also with their website, they are going to have, all their social media. But, it's super simple. Instagram, CBD Country, Facebook.com, CBD Country. And like I said, right here, we're about to drop the website on here. And shout out to all of our guests that came through today. I cannot wait to actually edit some of these down. There's some really great takeaways, with all of this, and I'm really excited. Here they are, here the CBD Country, and let me actually get their logo here. And then our other sponsor, Laddie Ton, make sure to follow them. He's got some amazing things that is going on right now. Like I say, he's doing the Vote Earth, and this is, getting people to plant trees. What was that one Dr. Seuss? It wasn't Horton Hears a Who, or I forgot which one it was, but it was like the trees were like there was all these artificial trees. And I think that, and there was like one real tree that was preserved or something like that. I cannot remember which one it was. I know that they had made from the book, they ended up making an actual movie from it. But yeah, we need more trees, all the trees, as possible. These things give off oxygen. One of the things that we're seeing or hearing a lot about is just like, the oxygen in the air, what's going on, with that. So, I just want to make sure, we get our sponsor shout out here, the CBD Country. And thank y'all for tuning in. We had a little technical difficulty, but we were able to go ahead and still get this rocking. Like I said, we had some all the guests that we had on here were super amazing, from Amia to Anna, uh, Jonathan with the CBD Country. We had Roy come through. Um, it's just been really awesome. And right now, what I'm doing is I want to make sure that I get this downloaded so that way no funny business happens for any reason and this video just like disappears off the face of the planet or whatnot. Because all these interviews are dope. I want to make sure that all of them are they get downloaded. um, but yeah, everybody that tuned in, CBD Country. Let me make sure that I get Latitude up in here as well. Give me one moment. Let's see. Do, do, do. Oh, nope. I don't want to share the screen. Oh, it always goes on there. But yeah, so learned a lot today. I like just me in general. I like being like the same way that I like throwing the CBD fair market. I love having these interviews because I do learn some stuff every single time. And that's like, to me, I love learning. So there's plenty of stuff that after this, I'm going to be able to go complete research mode and then be able to, empower myself with knowledge and be like, oh snap, I want to definitely look at that. Especially with what Annie was saying, I forgot the actual the thing that she was talking about. But I've heard of plenty of plants, and me in general. I don't know. I may have like a random infinity with plants that I just haven't fully dived into yet. But CBD is definitely helping me in that journey through these different plants, these different healing plants. And like I said, Latiton.com. Make sure to check them out. Art, wealth, business. But yeah, this is a great episode. I got my water here. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Everybody that tuned in today. It's been super awesome. We were able to still make it through the Texas CBD Fair. To me, like this, even though like going live for 5 hours is a completely new experience. And is it new experience? Like I do these events, so it really doesn't feel like that sometimes. Um, and that's what's super cool is that when I do these events, um, it is it's really cool. Like I really like it. Doing these events have been able to help me out a lot with just being able to navigate through a lot of what's going on. You know, and it's prepped me up for stuff like this. If I can sit here and go in on on different shows or things like that. And even though I asked several of the guests before, what are they watching during this time, I've still the say hi to from Philadelphia. She had something that was that I need to check out. I need to go ahead and check out that show that she was talking about, and I'm gonna find out what that show is, because I got the interview still. So I want to check that out because she had mentioned it, and then I seen an article about it. And I have this thing when things have been told to me in threes, then I have to go ahead and check that out. Anytime that anything's mentioned in threes, because at that point I know that there's going to be something super dope for me to find out from it. And so that's why I end up watching it. So I know pretty much that there is going to be another mention of it because it's already been mentioned twice. So that's going to be cool. But thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Uh, Robert, uh, Skunky Botanics. Shout out to you again. You was the first person to comment. Shout out to everybody else that commented. Um, right now, I'm downloading the live as far as from Facebook, so that way we have that good to go. Oh, whoops! I put YouTube, but it needs to be Facebook. Facebook videos. So yeah, I mean, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Um, I was looking at the views as far as on the Facebook one, since that one had stopped prematurely. But I found out why. But I'm glad we was able to go ahead and get it going on YouTube because I wanted to make sure we was able to get it. We was able to private or not public. Uh, we was able to get it going. So I'm excited. Going back on these particular videos are going to be really fun to look at. And if y'all have any ideas like on what you would like to see on the CBD Fair Market, so I've had live performers, I've had um, live performers, I've had music videos playing, I've had just all different types of things. So drop a comment if there's anything in particular you would like to see. Even with the internet and different things like that, I'm trying to see what I can put into the stream, what I can't put into the stream, what has good playback, what doesn't. So I've read part of my book on here, so just let me know kind of what are the things that y'all may be looking for when it comes to this stuff. And just keep it rocking. But this is Mr. Composition, and thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Texas CBD Fair Market. So we actually don't have any more guests, but I do want to just give another big shout out to all of our guests: Amia, Annie, Jonathan with the CBD Country, Roy with the Carpenter's Apprentice. Um, oh man, when we had the large break, I went and it got me something to eat. I was like, oh, I've still tried to, we're in the middle of a move right now as well. So it's just all like, I like just try to make sure everything is good to go. Next week is going to be amazing. I'm going to have some very, very awesome people that come through. I'm gonna see if my teacher friend can come by. I know that there's a lot of people who have children that are having to deal with um, homeschooling. So just getting her take on everything, just as a teacher, I've been able to get some of the takes from other vendors who have children, different things like that. Um, some awesome things. So let me, before we head out, let me actually have both of our sponsors side by side, um, so that way y'all make sure to follow them both. And that way I can download these videos, so that way we can make sure that I'm able to grab this content. Let's see if it'll have me show up in the middle. Okay, cool. Well, that works. What? Maybe. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's cool. All right. So, let me get the CBD country. Boop. Let me get their website here. Boom. I'm gonna add that there. All right. There we go. Okay. So, shout out to both of our sponsors, Laddington. You can check them out at www.laditan Art Business Wealth. You know, go ahead, check them out. He's got paintings. He's got freaking Vote Earth on there. You know, we also have the CBD Country. Make sure to check them out. If you saw earlier, they have some amazing stuff on there. So make sure, whether it is for the pets, whether it is for, topical, and as you're able to hear with them, you're able to they know what it is that they're talking about. Like they're not just, they're not the convenience store. They're not, just somebody random. The people that I have on here, like these are going to be the people that are going to give you the correct information. Just like he said, you don't even have to take his word for it. Do the research. That way, you're able to go back and be like, all right, this is what it is that I'm needing. Boom, boom, boom. So yes, make sure to check them out. www.thecbdcounty.com, the CBD Country. And let me go ahead and get my little shameless plug in here. Let me see. So make sure to check out my new single, Face Mask. Let me actually. See, that was the first song I played. If I would have just kept it with my stuff, I probably would have got sent to Facebook jail. But let me go ahead and drop that on here. All right. So, but the cool thing is, it was literally just a warning from Facebook. They didn't even keep it, me off of for that long and everything like that. So, yes, you can check out Face Mask. And, if you're on TikTok, at Golden Dab Show, Instagram, Graffiti the Mind Sun, or Texas CBD Fair on Instagram. Yeah, face mask. Make sure you got your face mask on when you're going out in public. It's on all available streaming websites, as well as my personal CBD company. We're doing shipping and drop offs. The Composition Wellness Solution. So that's going to be your CBD. It's also books as far as my fiction book, and then I also do guidance and tarot reading. So that is the Composition Wellness Solution. And let me see if I can get my little menu. Shout out to Amina with Progress Force, who actually basically got me in contact with Amia. Like it's really interesting how things just go full circle, and just the way that people are able to connect with each other. So, yeah, the Composition Wellness Solutions. Make sure that you check me out on there. You can get me with a text if you're in the San Antonio area, or you can just hit me up as far as for shipping and everything like that. One of the things that I definitely want to get into, several people brought up this point, and it is quality. The cool thing about everyone that I have on here is they all have their own unique aspects. That's how I do with the Texas CBD Fair Market in real life. I have a market where there's the majority CBD vendors. Some of those vendors have the same item per se, but again, some person has CBG pre rolls, and another vendor doesn't. So it's just like there's room for everybody. So make sure uh, hit up the Instagram and Facebook. As you can see, it's definitely winding down. I'm starting to like hit all different types of, like, oh goodness, but not like in a bad way. I'm more than grateful. I'm thankful for all of y'all. Now it's time for me to wind down into, the rest of what's going on today. So thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for making another amazing CBD Fair Market online edition. Super awesome. Again, my name is Mr. Composition, and catch y'all later. Peace.